guys, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be covering 36 new products that just dropped at Sephora. So essentially, I went through the just dropped at Sephora page and I picked out all of the products that I had on that page, and I'm going to be telling you my thoughts on them, showing you them, introducing you to them. Now, I avoided makeup kits and makeup sets. I have several videos dedicated to just the sets, but I wanted to pick through and choose the products that weren't sets so that I could demo and swatch them for you and let you know what's out there if you're not a holiday kit fan. So we have a combination of fall launches as well as holiday launches, but I would say most of these I would consider the fall launches. Like, it's early on in the fall season, so I'm kind of pushing off the holiday stuff a little bit for this video. Now, this is not a speed reviews video. I haven't fully tested and gathered my final thoughts on a lot of these products. In some cases, today was the first time I've tried some of these products, so I'll let you guys know which ones I am experienced enough to give you the reviews on, and then which ones I do want to get a feel for. As always, make sure you are subscribed to my channel because all of these products will be featured in a speed reviews video right before the Sephora sale, most likely, after I've tested all of these a little bit more, because all of these were in my speed reviews drawer, so they're still not what I would consider final thought review worthy. So all of these are a work in progress as far as my thoughts, but let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start off with primers. I have two that have launched that I got my hands on. This one I haven't talked about yet on my channel. I purchased this in a random little Sephora order. It's the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer. So I had initially purchased just the foundation, and then I saw everybody using the primer with the foundation and their skin looked really blurred. So I was wondering if this was part of that. Now, today was the first day that I've tried this primer, so take my opinions with a grain of salt. What I will say is the foundation that I put over top, I put on two different primers today, was so much smoother over this. I need to test it with the Huda Beauty foundation before I can get my thoughts. But the Huda Beauty foundation is super blurring, so I think with this in combination, it might be that golden ticket to perfectly smooth skin. I really enjoyed my first experience with this, but the day is young. Keep that in mind. But for some reason, I knew about the foundation launch at first, and I ended up skipping the primer, and I regretted it immediately. So we're currently testing this. The other new primer is from Milk Makeup. It's a pretty cool launch. It's their Hydro Grip and Glow Primer. So their Grip Primer has been a bestseller for years at this point, and they launched one that is now glowy. Now, the glow is interesting. I think it's a bit intense, a little bit metallic, but it's actually perfect for a fuller coverage product to go over top because the glow will still show through. Thus far, I've had great experiences with this primer. However, I did notice today with the foundation that I used, it was peeling and pilling, and I'll tell you when I get to the foundation. That's the first time that's happened to me, but it is something to note. So just go ahead and keep that in mind, that the foundation looked so much better over the Huda Beauty as opposed to the Milk Makeup. But if you're a fan of the Milk Makeup Grip Primer, you will enjoy this a lot because it still has that grip. But if you like a glow, this one's for you. It's not a pretty enough glow to wear on the skin alone. It's a bit too intense. But underneath makeup, I think that this has a nice glow. 4 new foundations in my possession. One that I'm missing that you guys are probably going to be looking for is the new One Size Liquid Foundation. Mine got lost in the mail, so I don't have my hands on it quite yet, but I do intend on eventually playing around with that one. But of the ones that I do have, I have the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation. I still haven't tested this with the primer to see if I get the full results, but this alone I feel like looks really blurring and really smooth on my skin. I've heard feedback from a lot of you guys that you thought it looked a little bit heavy on your skin and makeup-y, and while I will agree, it is makeup. It does not look like your skin, but I feel like it's really perfecting for a full glam style of makeup. I personally really like the way that it looks, but I think it's kind of hit or miss for the consensus on this, so do keep that in mind. But I do feel like it's blurring. I do need to prep my skin properly because I do have dry skin, but I still enjoy this a lot. I would say that probably the best foundation that I'm talking about in today's video is the new Dior Forever foundation stick. Now, if you've followed me for quite some time, I've always said the Dior foundations are the best. When it comes to the best of the best in the whole wide world of foundations, Dior creates the best line, and this stick did not fall short. This has such a skin-like finish, but it still gives a medium coverage. It blends out really easily. It wears really well. It looks really nice, but still gives you coverage. There's not a bad thing I can say about this. My skin looks so healthy with this. If you have the money and you want to splurge on yourself, this is a good one. I love sticks in general because you just have so much control with how much coverage you get and where you get that coverage. So everything about this stick foundation I am in love with. It is a top contender foundation, like in the top 5 list. It's amazing. Patrick Ta also launched a new foundation. This one was really a hot topic. I feel like Patrick Ta is definitely more selective with his launches. There are far and fewer compared to other makeup brands. So this one was a big deal. This is the Major Skin Hydra Luxe Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. This is very glowy, very hydrating. It feels skincare infused to me. For me, I don't love it. I feel like it sticks to the hairs on my face and it really sits on top of the skin. For me to get the best finish, I have to take a damp sponge and kind of push it in, get it off of the hairs, and then I like the way that it looks. But it feels sticky on my skin all day. I personally like a feel that has a little bit of a dry down. It's not for me, but I can see why a lot of people are loving this. And lastly, we have the LYS foundation sticks. This is one that I was excited about because we know LYS Beauty is known for their sticks. They have bronzers, blushes, highlights, and naturally it only made sense for them to come out with a foundation. I wonder if they'll do like a stick concealer. Anyways, today is the first day that I'm using this, so do keep that in mind. But I had a really good experience with it. Now, it did disagree with that Milk Makeup Primer, so don't try those two together. It peeled. But on the side where I had the Huda Beauty Primer, it just looks so smooth. It feels really lightweight. It was easy to blend. I'm looking up here how they describe it. A medium coverage, I would agree with that. Natural finish. Ingredient rich, which is supposed to conceal the look of blemishes, uneven tones in just one swipe. It's supposed to be blurring and hydrating. I would say it does both as well. Early days here, I'm literally in the first hour of wear. So this is one that you're definitely going to keep an eye on for my speed reviews update. But so far, I think my skin looks really nice, other than the fact it did not agree with the Milk Makeup Primer. But no complaints so far. I wanted to talk about these new brushes that came to Sephora that you'll see me applying the powders later on. Hourglass's limited edition holiday brushes. So there's one with a dragon design and one with an evil eye design. They are the same brush. You just choose whatever design you like. These are tighter than a lot of the brushes that I love from Hourglass. I love Hourglass brushes, by the way. They're very soft, they're vegan, they're cruelty-free, and I love them for applying powders, but because of how soft they are, and I think they pick up powder great. So this is a bit of a different shape than what I own from Hourglass. The brushes that I do own are fluffier. Like I said, these have more tightness to them. And I don't really like these for using in the Hourglass powders. It's too dense, and it doesn't really give a blended look on application. However, what I do like these for is for setting powders, which I'm going to use these. So these still have that really great feel of the Hourglass brushes, those synthetic fibers. This side, the bigger, longer side, I haven't quite figured out how I like to use this side yet, but I've been loving the smaller side for setting powder. It just picks up the perfect amount, and it's small enough that you can get into the smaller areas of the faces. Yeah, big enough so that you don't have to keep applying and running it over the face. So I've been liking these. These aren't my favorite shapes from Hourglass. Just interesting. They're more dense than normal, and I don't really like that for applying the Hourglass powders. Have you guys noticed that there's been a lot of powder launches these last couple of months? So I have 4 I'm going to talk about. The first one is from LYS Beauty. They have been launching products hard and fast, it feels like. This is their, I guess, loose setting powder. I have the shade Resilient, which is the translucent powder. The finish, the application of this is very nice. It feels lightweight, and I think it does a decent job blurring. The one thing I don't like about this is despite it being translucent, it darkens my under eyes. So It makes my under eyes darker than my skin tone, which I don't like. I prefer a brightness underneath the eyes. So I like the formula, but the color of the translucent, it's not really translucent. It darkens my under eyes. So for that reason, I just can't reach for this as much as I would like to. Another launch is from Makeup by Mario. He also launched a loose setting powder called the Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder. I use the shade 2 Neutral Light. Loving this powder. It is very blurring. It's a more heavy duty feel. Comparing it to the Huda Beauty, which is really lightweight, this one has some body to it. Body is good for oily skin types, or if you have a little bit of caving going on underneath, a thicker powder is good for kind of filling in that under eye area. I love this powder. I've been using this all of the time. I personally prefer a loose setting powder, so this has been my go-to in my speed review drawer lately. I've enjoyed this a lot. They did a great job with that launch. 2 new pressed powders. So not a new formula, but a new range of colors from the Kosas Cloud Set line. This is also a great powder. So they launched a light yellow, a light pink, and then I guess like a peachy shade for more medium to deep complexions. Today I demoed for you Candy, which is a light pink shade. I will say, not as like pigmented or brightening as I thought it was going to be. If I'm being honest, I don't really notice too much of a difference between this shade and just my normal Cloud Set shade. So the new shades aren't as impactful or as exciting as I thought they were going to be, but it still is that really good Cloud Set powder, which I do enjoy. Tower 28 also tried their hand at pressed powders, launching the Get Set powder. I have 2 shades, Translucent and then Palisades Pink. I like this. This deposits a nice amount of pigment. Is it the best pressed powder I've ever used? No. I would say typically Tower 28, they don't fail me when it comes to products. Every product that they launch, I love. This is the first product in a while where I didn't love it. I liked it. It's not a bad powder. To me, it just doesn't stand out to some other pressed powders that I have in my collection. So while it's not a bad powder, and while I did brighten my under eyes very nicely, this isn't as blurring as I like a powder to be. So I'm not going to be reaching for these a ton. Oh, yummy. You guys, Dior launched one of my new all-time favorite contours. So this is a cream contour stick. They call it the Forever Skin Contour. I use the shade 01 Light. This is the perfect wearable contour shade for me. It also has a little bit of a powdery kind of dry down while still being a hydrating cream. And it really creates the perfect shadow. It applies nice and blended. It's easy to work with. It's perfect for a natural nose contour. This has been my go-to, and it's on its way to becoming a favorite cream contour bronzer product for me. So this is a must check out. Liquid and cream blushes. The first one, it took me a while to try these after they launched, but they did create quite a hype. These are the Cali Ray Blurry Blushes. Fair warning, today's the first day that I've used these blushes. They're interesting. They have a true dry down that is hard to get off. So I think these are going to be very long wearing. I used the shade Dope today. I love this application. It has a really airy, easy blend. It's sheer but buildable. And it does look quite blurring on the cheek so far. So I have a good feeling about these. I'm going to need to keep an eye out with application to see if these dry down too fast, to make sure that they're really easy to work with. But I'm liking the colors that they have, and this does exactly as marketed from what I'm able to tell so far. So far so good. These have also been a hot topic from YSL. They launched the Make Me Blush liquid blushes. Some shades are more sheer than others. Overall, I really like this formula. I think that it blends out really easy. It is buildable as well in some cases. Not super buildable, but like I said, I feel like different shades here have different levels of pigment. It's a more liquidy style product, but I feel like the second my brush hits my face, the product almost applies itself, which I think is really important when you're paying a luxury price tag. When it comes to luxury cosmetics, one of the things that I generally look for is how is the ease of application. A good luxury product should pretty much do the work for you. You're just kind of moving your wrist around, and that is how I feel about these blushes. So I am liking them so far. I've only used them a couple times though, so I have a lot of work to do with those. And then have not yet tried these, have only swatched these, but Glamzilla did a 30th birthday collaboration with Nude Sticks. If you watch my channel, you know I love the Nude Sticks line. I think they came out with like the OG cream blush and bronzer, just cream sticks in general. And I still think they deserve recognition because they're still some of the best after all these years. So in her set, she has a blush in Dirty 30. It's a warm kind of peachy shade. I haven't tried these yet. I just know I like the formula. But what is interesting is this Flirty and Thriving. I've never seen Nude Sticks do this. It's a split stick. So half is bronzer, half is blush. You'll have to pay attention to make sure you apply it the right way. But I think it would be easy to just go like this. I don't know. I need to play with this one. I'm interested to see how this one ends up working out on the face. In theory, right, it should be nice and easy, but I find that if I apply a product like this, the colors could get muddy. So I will have to keep you updated on that. I talked about these recently in a video. Fenty Beauty launched these suede powder blushes. I received these in a PR package. The shade Petal Poppin' from the PR package is probably the only shade that I will end up using regularly in my routine. Not complaining, I'm very grateful to receive the PR package, but just the package didn't have colors that I wear on a daily basis except for Petal Poppin'. And it has a very smooth application, easy blend. I wouldn't say anything like to write home about, but I've enjoyed it as a powder blush formulation. You can only go so many ways with powder blushes, you know, so either they work good or they don't. I used a little bit of Water Brat today just to kind of blend my blush in, and I feel like it really not softened the color, but softened the finish of the blush on my face. It was actually quite pretty. So these are solid. If you like a smoother, silkier feeling blush, I think you will like these. So this is a holiday launch, maybe a holiday kit you'd consider, I don't know. But Makeup Forever launched a new HD Skin Cream palette. So this one this year is the HD Skin Blush and Glow palette. Now, I love these so much. I literally keep the ones from previous years at my desktop. That's how you know I love a product. They're just so useful because of the colors in there to change any colors of shading or brightening that I need to do. Like if I have a concealer that's too dark, I'll reach in there and I'll get a bright cream shade because it is a universal cream formulation. Now this year's I'm a little disappointed in because they're really following the trend of cheeks. So it's just really a cheek palette this year. It's blushers and cream highlighters. So instantly half of this palette is out for me because I just don't like a cream highlight. And these are like a sheer, glowy, glimmery cream highlight formulation, mostly on this side. There's a little bit of intermingling here, but for the most part, lots of cream highlights in here, and then you have some blushes, which are nice. What I loved so much about the previous palettes that I just showed you, there's one that is just for skin, and there's one that is for skin. It has everything, like blush, bronzer, contour, foundation, concealer. It would just have been so much more useful to me to have a couple contour and skin color, like, you know, face, complexion shades. You pay a lot of money for this just to be for cheeks. I felt like the other palettes had so much more value. Not saying that these are not a good formula, they are, but it's just cheeks this year, which I think makes the value go down, but it is a good formula, but I prefer the older ones. Part of Dior's holiday collection from their Backstage line was this Backstage Glow face palette in Celestial Glow. Now they really went for a theme this year of that like celestial, pastel-y kind of coloring here, and I don't like this one. I don't recommend it. One of you guys did tell me that overall they did change the original Backstage highlight quad formulations, which really upsets me. I have the older formulations of the Backstage quads, and they are like one of my all-time favorite highlighters ever. And so I bought this one this year. I was so excited for new colors, and I don't like the formulations here. They're glittery. They're not as smooth. They just have a different glow to them. And this one in particular, there's too much glitter in a couple of these shades. There's awkward, like, are they highlights? Are they cheek color shades? I don't really like this one so far, and I'm not really recommending it. Another highlight very expensive, is from Gucci Beauty. It's their Glow Highlighter. It's supposed to be really silky. Now, my mistake. Don't buy Sunrise Gold if you don't like a highlight that has kind of like an orangey, reddish shift to it. I was under the impression, based on the shade description online, that this was going to be a champagne. And then I put it on my face and I turned and it was like pure red. It was so strange. Now, the consistency of this is really silky and beautiful. I went into store and the other shades weren't as deceiving. I felt as this one, the other shades were like kind of normal looking. So I spent a lot of money for a shade I don't like and is like oddly different than the other ones. So formulation's fine, but don't buy that shade. These need to be put in a speed refuse ASAP because I keep talking about the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Palettes. This is a holiday drop that they do every year. Love them, worth every penny. Have a whole video on them, but for reference, Dragon is the lightest palette, which I've been enjoying a lot. I think it's really flattering. But for more punchy days, I've been enjoying the Evil Eye palette because this has more bright colors. And then there also is the Lotus Flower palette, which is too deep for my complexion. I bought it for review purposes. There are a couple blush shades in here that are gorgeous. Generally speaking, not for me. I have a friend who's getting married with a deep complexion. I'm going to do her bridal trial, and I want to see if I can bring this because I think it would look gorgeous on her. So this one will get used for sure. But anyways, I don't want to talk about these too much. You know I love them. You know they're worth it. The last complexion product that I have to talk about is the new setting spray from Makeup by Mario. This is the Surreal Skin Soft Setting Spray. Very much enjoying this one. It's kind of been put to the side because I've been loving the M Cosmetics one so much, but this one does have a soft hydration to it where it kind of sinks in all of the makeup. It's really subtle, and I think it makes the makeup last longer. I think. I need to do more trial runs with this one, but generally speaking, I really trust the Makeup by Mario brand. So I'm trusting that this is doing what they claim that it does, but cannot confirm or deny if I'm being 100% honest. Moving on to eye products, we have some fun ones. Not really this one, but I'm going to talk about it. It's the newest ABH product, Queen of Brows, ABH. This is the Voluminizing Tinted Brow Gel. I'm always unsure about tinted brow gels because they can get messy fast, but I really don't understand how this product is able to make it look like my brows were filled in with powder. I did have to go in and clean up with a concealer around the edges, but overall, I mean, this gave a nice tint. Don't get me wrong, it's not shaping my brows. This is best for somebody who gets their brows shaped, which I have not in like a year, if I'm being honest, but it really does make my brows look like they have a powder fill-in. Really good. Now, today's the first day that I've used this, so I'm going to continue to keep you updated. I use the shade Medium Brown, but so far, I'm impressed. I don't understand how it literally looks like I filled in with powder, and it has a decent hold. For quickies every day? Well, I don't know about quickies, because like I said, if you go outside the lines, then you look crazy, so you have to like use a concealer to clean up around, and it's really hard to get an accurate shape with this. So, jury's still out, but interesting. Okay, we have some holiday palettes. I know this year I really slowed down with my palette videos and my palette purchases, but there have been some irresistible palettes that I had to know about. We're going to start off with the one that I'm wearing today. I just thought that this looked so pretty and wearable. I had to try it, so today's the first time. It's from Lawless, which I think is one of the best lip brands on the market. So I was like, let me see what they can do about these eyes. So this is the Dreamy Dozen Volume 2 palette. Definitely for a neutral wearer. So it had my name written all over it. I stayed along the bottom row for the most part. I noticed that the formulation of these are really silky. I don't think they're going to give you full-on pigment. So if you really like pigment, this isn't for you. These are more silky and sheer. But I started off with this color all over the crease with a big fluffy brush. And then to get some depth, I went in with this grayish brown taupey shade. Now, this did not build up in pigment like I wanted it to. It was very easy to blend, but it didn't give me that depth that I was looking for. And then I use this beautiful taupe shade. That's what's all over my eyes. It's almost plum. And it's perfect for a fall, not smoky eye, but you see what I have going on. I'm not wearing a smoky eye, but I'm wearing like a mid-tone eye. So I have a little bit of depth all over. Gorgeous shade, really creamy, really pigmented. Also, the shimmers in here are very rich. And then used this shade as the highlight, which is quite glowy and beaming against the light. So I'm liking this. I do think the mattes could use a little bit more pigment. Another palette from Holiday already is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Beautyverse Love palette. I've only used this in the original review that I filmed, so it needs more chances for sure, but I don't like this, like, at all. I think the colors are kind of ugly. I mean, some of them are pretty, but overall it's just very red, almost, the colors. I don't think the quality is anything to write home about. I was honestly pretty disappointed with this one. Mixed emotions so far. Again, need to use this some more. From Dior, from their holiday collection, this is Celestial Purple from the Backstage line. And I am actually quite surprised at the versatility you can get with this palette. It's not a formula for everyone. It's different than the Lawless, but if you like really defined looks, this isn't going to be for you. These are softer shadows that give really easy washes to the eye in a different way than the Lawless. The Lawless feels like it lacks pigment. This feels intentional. The way that the formula is feels purposeful, and I like it that way. And you can get a lot of different looks with this palette, to be honest, with it only being 9 shades. I'm liking this palette. I need to use it some more, but so far it was way better than anticipated. This new one from Makeup Forever, I haven't tried, but I kept it because I thought it looked gorgeous. I had to keep it in my possession. I got it in PR. Probably wouldn't have purchased it on my own, if I'm being honest. This is the Artist to Go palette in Wherever Walnut. Makeup Forever used to be coveted for eyeshadows, like back in the day, and now nobody talks about their eyeshadows. So I don't even know my thoughts on the formula. I just love the taupey Wherever Walnut line of colors. It looks like I could use this palette for today's look, doesn't it? Anyways, I just thought this was really pretty. I don't have anything to say about it, but they also have a warm one as well. But I'm going to give 2024 a try with the Makeup Forever eyeshadows because it's been years since I've used a Makeup Forever eyeshadow. Another new palette that you'll see on the new palettes page is from Natasha Denona. It's the I Need a Warm palette. Not sure on quality, like no Natasha Denona palette is ever, and really pretty shades. I talked about this in a recent video. I haven't been reaching for this palette as much as I thought I would, and that is the true review for me, the test of time. I don't know why I've been shying away from this palette. I just feel like, especially when you play over here, the looks pull very orange on me, and I tend to lean towards like a neutral, cool-toned kind of look lately. But I did recently do a look that wasn't super warm with this palette, so it is possible. But I guess I've had other palettes that I've been reaching for more and I've been more excited about. And that's not to say anything bad about this palette. I don't. I like the colors quite a lot, but my mind has been wanting to use other palettes. And then the last palette that I have to talk about is from Denona Myricks. This packaging, worth every penny. It's super unique. I mean, I have a TikTok showing all the things you can do with this, but this is their new Lightwork Volume Freedom palette. While the concept is genius, the colors they're not for me. They're not what I'm using lately. There's so many different finishes in this. It's quite confusing if you really pay attention to the formulations like I do. Really fun one and done looks you can get with this if you are spunky and want to play with some color, which I honestly just haven't been in the mood for. This is more like I can't reach for this palette to get looks. I reach for like one shade to put all over the eye. So I'm just not the audience for this palette. It's not bad by any means, and the packaging is amazing. But Denona, once she comes out with like a more neutral color story, think about it. Cool tones, neutral tones, warm tones. I will be in there so fast. And I'm not even mad about purchasing this palette, even though it hasn't been one that I've wanted to reach for a lot, because I knew that was going to be the case. But the packaging is just so genius. I needed to support Denona in this. During the last Sephora sale, I actually discovered these Kulfi Zari Eyes eyeshadow, and they finally launched 2 new shades, and the 2 new shades are delicious. Like, oh, so good. So they launched this plum shade, which is more smooth, more satiny, and then they launched like a glitter one, Sana, and it is so glittery on the eyes, so pretty. So I love these because you don't have any fallout. They don't crease or crunch or peel. It's almost like applying a powder eyeshadow, but they're a gel consistency, but the way that they are flexible is like a powder eyeshadow. Last all day. Like I said, no creasing, no, flaking underneath the eyes. Just a phenomenal formulation. I love that jelly texture that they have too. Amazing so far. Amazing, simply. And then a new mascara from Charlotte Tilbury, the Exaggerize Volume Mascara. The Exaggerize Volume Mascara. This gives volume. Let me tell you, I don't like it because my lashes feel sticky for a long time, and I like to curl my lashes after I've applied the mascara. So this isn't really for me, but it does give volume. Valentino just launched these Spike matte lipsticks. They're $48. Wow. I've only used these today for the first time. I can't say too much about them, but they're a matte lip color that is supposed to be comfortable. They have a kind of florally sweet smell to them. I tend to like a thinner lipstick like this. I don't know. I don't have much to say about them. Today is the first day that they touched my lips. It was matte. So this is going to be an underwhelming review for this one. But just letting you know that they're out there. They just dropped. If you're a Valentino fan, they have that signature spiked style packaging. Lancome launched a new, I would say, trendy formula. These are the Squalane Butter Glow Hydrating Lip Balms. I have 2 shades. So the shade 30 has a really pretty sheer pigment to it. It's a little bit peachy. And then the shade 10 is just like a clear balm. Again, today's the first day that I've tried these. They have a little bit of a minty plumping sensation on the lips. And they smell really good. They have a little bit of like a chocolatey minty scent to them. I don't know. I like it though. And this is a buttery hydrating lip balm with squalane that's non-sticky, instant color, shine for up to 24 hours. The packaging of these is particularly gorgeous. Normally, I mean, I don't talk about Lancome too much on my channel. I have certain brands that I focus on the launches for. Lancome isn't one of those, but I got these in PR and I put them out and I was like, these are gorgeous. I'm going to see what these are about, so I'll keep you updated. And then one of Fenty's holiday launches is their Swirl Lip Gloss. This is the Twisted Lip Luminizer in the shade Fussy Flex. My demons came out and I had to see if I could ruin the, it's like, you know, the twist in here. It was much more clean when I bought it. It's very hard to do. So if you buy this, don't be scared. The swirl will kind of stay there unless you physically go out of your way to get the applicator to blend the sides. Beside the point, I said in my original review on TikTok that this didn't give much color. I think I lied. I was wrong. This gives like a medium level of pigment. Honestly, pretty good for a gloss. Gorgeous, honestly. I would love to see them launch more of these twisted things, because it's just really pretty to look at, unless you destroy it like me, but I'm a menace. I love these glosses so much. This is such a pretty color. I'm sure I have a color similar to this from previous years, but this is a good holiday launch. It came in the ornament style packaging. I like it a lot. I find so interesting that some of these classic brands that have been around for a long time, they're rebranding, repackaging, reformulating, and that's what Makeup Forever is doing. So they came out with their Rouge Artist Forever Satin and Matte Lipsticks. I just kept the shade Wherever Walnut. These are really hard to open and close. I don't really like the packaging of them. So Wherever Walnut's what I have on my lips right now. It's the perfect fall kind of plummy shade. Again, not dramatic, but also not natural at all. These are pretty drying though. They say these are pigmented, weightless feel, comfortable wear. I mean, You can see the lines on my lips. This is definitely not going down as one of my all-time favorite matte formulas. Again, today's the first day I'm wearing this, so I'll keep you updated, but I'm not in love with this. I like the color for fall, but my lips look thirsty. Okay, so then the last product that I have is from Kaja, and they are the Juicy Glass Lip Oils, and they launched new milky shades. This is from a PR package. So the new milky shades are Fig Smoothie, Apple Cider, and Cherry Cola. But I haven't tried any of these before. They have a ball. Makes it very noisy. It's like in the in the cap. Anyways, typically K-Beauty, if you don't know, Kaja is K-Beauty. They have really shiny lip oils. This smells like a fruit, and I love it. I'll keep you updated. This is $18. It's a lip oil that's inspired by fruits. Huh, go figure. Non-sticky, hydrating, and plumps the look of lips. Haven't tried these yet, so I will have to keep you updated on these. But if you are a Kaja and K-Beauty fan, we have some new shades of these lip oils, and I bet you they're good. They're really tiny and cute. Anyways, those are new and semi-new products that have launched at Sephora recently. You can find them on the Just Drop page at Sephora, as long as you are weeding out all of those holiday kits, which I do have videos featuring if you want to know more about the kits. But I hope this video helped you out if you were looking to see what was new at the market at Sephora. And make sure you subscribe to my channel because, like I said, all of these are going to be featured in a speed reviews video very, very soon. Once I finish up my thoughts on a good number of these. I still have a lot of testing to do. Some of these products I'm pretty set in stone, I would say, for my opinions, but you'll just have to subscribe and watch that video to find out. How are you feeling about these fall and holiday launches? Are you into what these brands are launching, or are you just like, yawn? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me because this was a long one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one.